In this video I'm going to be talking about a part of Mitcham Common you just might walk by without giving it further thought. It was once used as a football field, one of many that were in use on the Common after the Second World War. Today all of the pitches are gone, and this field is part of the story I'll be talking about. It's actually part of a much wider project for all of London. It's about preserving a piece of nature that might vanish altogether. Okay, so when you think about nature in London, what does come to mind? You're probably picturing those big famous parks like Hyde Park or Richmond Park. But what if I told you there's a hidden habitat, hiding in plain sight, a landscape that tells a story about the city's ancient past, and one that's now, well, on the very brink of disappearing? So what is it? What is London's absolute rarest natural landscape? I bet it's not what you're thinking. It's not some secret walled garden somewhere. No. The answer is something way more subtle, and honestly a lot more fragile. Okay, it's actually a special kind of environment called Heathland. So let's take a closer look at what makes this habitat so unique and why it's kind of like London's hidden natural treasure. Heathland has this really fascinating origin story, and then here's the interesting part. It's not exactly wild in the way we usually think. It was actually shaped by people. Hundreds of years back, forests were cleared on these sandy, gravelly soils around London. This land became common land, used for grazing animals and gathering fuel. All that activity stopped trees from growing back and created the perfect condition for stuff like heather to just take over. So it's this man-made landscape that, over time, became incredibly valuable for wildlife. But, and it's a big but, this precious landscape is in some serious trouble. Its own history is also the story of its decline. And when you see the numbers, they are genuinely shocking. So get this, 80 hectares, that's it. To put that in perspective for you, that's less than half the size of Hyde Park. And it's not in one place. It's scattered in these tiny isolated fragments all across the whole of London. We're basically talking about an environment that is just clinging on for dear life in the city. And look at this bar chart. I mean, it just says it all. Just look at that tiny little sliver for Heathland on the left and compare it with the huge bars for woodland and grassland. This really gets to the heart of the problem. You see, as we stop using the land in the old ways, these rare open habitats were either planted with trees on purpose or just mowed down into lawns for parks, squeezing the heathland right out of the picture. So you can basically break its disappearance down into two main culprits. First, the obvious one, as London exploded in size, huge areas of heathland were just paved over, built on, gone forever. But then, for the heathland that did survive inside parks, it was actually just misunderstood. People saw it as just a scrubby or untidy area, and they thought they were improving it by turning it into a neat forest or a tidy grassland, completely erasing what made it special. This quote from the London Biodiversity Partnership really brings the urgency home. This isn't some slow motion decline playing out over centuries anymore. We are literally talking about a few decades. If we don't do something, this entire habitat could just vanish from the capital, probably within our lifetimes. But it's not all doom and gloom. Faced with this threat, there is now a really dedicated effort underway to pull this habitat back from the brink. There is a plan, and it's a real path to recovery. And this isn't just a few isolated projects here and there, no. A full-on citywide strategy has been put together to find the last remaining bits of heathland and figure out the best way to protect them, expand them and bring them back to life. It's a coordinated fight back. To really get a feel for how this actually works on the ground, let's zoom in on one specific place, Mitcham Common. It's one of the most important sites in the recovery plan. It's a perfect example of the hands-on work that's going on. On Mitcham Common, the team is working with just 1.5 hectares of heathland. Now, I know that sounds tiny, doesn't it? But, well, it is. But these little pockets are absolutely vital. Think of them like lifeboats. They're the seed banks, the last arcs of this entire habitat, which can be reborn and expanded. So how do they actually do it? Well, it's this really careful, deliberate process. First off, they've got to clear out all the scrub and trees that are creeping in and blocking the sunlight from the heather. Second, they create what they call scrapes. They basically dig up a shallow layer of topsoil to get back to that poor sandy earth that the heather just loves. Third, they have to painstakingly remove all the old leaves that have been built up over the years because that makes the soil too rich. And finally, they reseed the whole area with heather, giving it a brand new start. So all this intensive work, this fight for every little parcel of land, it's so much more than saving a few pretty plants. It's really about protecting a piece of London's natural soil, a vital piece of its ecological puzzle. When it comes right down to it, this is what it's all about. By restoring Heathland, we're preserving an incredibly rare habitat. We're protecting all the unique insects, birds and reptiles that can't live anywhere else. We're boosting the city's overall biodiversity, which makes it healthier and more resilient. And just as important, we're safeguarding a living piece of London's natural history for all of us to understand and enjoy. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, press the like button, please. And consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so. Bye for now.